Hey everyone, welcome back to Market Mamas. Thanks for joining us for another episode. We're super excited today. We're going to have another trader interview.
Yes, you guys, welcome back. And today, I'm so excited because this is my favorite mentor. I'm a little biased, but Jermaine actually has been really instrumental in teaching me what I needed to get to my most consistent period yet. So we're really excited to dig into his brain today about psychology and how he's gotten as far as he has and any tips he has for us. Let's talk a little bit about when did you start trading and how did you get into it?
Okay, so I moved to this country February of 2007, and I was just in time for the recession. All right, so what's crazy about that was that I didn't know that the country was in a recession because it seems like I was born and raised in a recession, right? So I didn't really know what was a recession. So I started to educate myself on that, and Warren Buffett at the time, he became my idol. He started to buy these companies out, pennies, right? And he saved a lot of them. And I started to look at the stock market and said, oh my God, I could have made so much money. These companies were so, cheap. And now, look at their value today. So that sparked the interest. I started to read The Intelligent Investor. I don't know if you're aware of that book. Started to dig into value investing on a longer term. And something about value investing resonated with me, and I started to buy and hold. And I went as far as doing even spreadsheets to value a company based on Warren's calculation. And I was managing my personal brokerage account. I had no idea about an IRA at the time, just had a brokerage account. And I started to invest and I started to make money. You make your $1,000 here and there. Then I said, you know what? When I get established to a certain level, I will make sure that I take on this full time. Now, remember, I didn't know that there was day trading yet. I thought it was just a buy and hold strategy based on Warren Buffett's strategy. So fast forward 2015, I said, okay, I'm at a place right now where I can make more money, right? I can invest in this. So I started to buy more books, read and read and read. And then I finally figured out that you could day trade. So now I'm like, oh my God, you can do this on a shorter term. I don't have to, go into, holding for 2-3 months. And started to make a little money here and there. But you know what happens right after you win, right? You lose, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, this is not as easy as I thought. I'm going to go deeper into trading. So I bought some courses. At that time, you didn't have prop firms. I didn't know anything about prop firms. So it was pretty tough risking my hard-earned money into the market. It was very painful. And I started to say to myself, hey, you know what? I have two ways I could go about this. I could put aside money to educate myself properly, or I could go in head on, learn from my experiences, and lose this money. Okay, so put aside about 30K, and I decided to buy every course out there on day trading. Right. So I bought the courses, and I found out that, hey, I'm probably going to need more than the courses. I wanted mentorship, right? Because there were certain things that I saw in the courses that they weren't consistently playing out in the market, and I didn't have that IQ yet. I was trying to develop that IQ. I reached out to some people. Their mentorship programs were about $25,000, and remember, I already put that into my education. So I'm like, I have no way out. I just got to ride it out. Went on a few trading platforms, and had quickly realized that signals and people calling out trades didn't work for me. So it became a lonely road.
Right. So we know it can be a very lonely road with lots of psychological hurdles. So for you in your journey, in your early learning years, what was the biggest psychological hurdle for you to manage? And, now that you're more of an advanced trader, has the most difficult part of your trading shifted over time?
I like the word advanced trader, and thank you. but I just have this thing of never getting there, right? I just feel like I'm always developing as a trader. Now, to answer your question about the early psychology issues, I had a lot of limiting beliefs, and I was very
Yeah.
focused to the point where I was very stubborn. I was a very rigid person. I was a very judgmental person. Okay. And that didn't help. So those were my struggles. I was hard headed, and I was just young to this whole game of understanding myself. Okay. And
Right.
the limiting beliefs were there, and I didn't know how to uncover them. And I would say that's the biggest thing. And that came from my relationship with money. I came from a Christian background that said, hey, you satisfy with what you got, right? For some reason, it kind of talked about, made you feel okay when you were poor, because it's like God favors the poor. You'll be rewarded in heaven, something like that. So
Yeah.
for me, reaching for more, I got a pushback because, hey, that's not how you were wired. And then thoughts of, you don't deserve this. How can you make money so quickly? What's going on? This is not the norm. Like
Right.
typical limiting beliefs, I would say.
Yeah. So let's go a little deeper into that then, because we love here at Market Mamas getting kind of raw, real facts about the struggle for this
Yes.
consistency, right?
Yes.
So, how about when you were working through all that and figuring out what your limiting beliefs were? What would you consider your lowest low? Like, can you paint a picture of what that looked like in terms of how you felt and how you managed that period?
I think depressed is a strong word, but I was almost there. Um,
Yeah.
Look, I thought that it was going to be challenging to be able to sit at home and make money. I was aware of the challenges. All my life, I've never, no one has ever handed anything to me. I had to fight for it, work hard for it. So I know it wouldn't be any different coming into trading. But the limiting the limiting beliefs were hard to uncover, and I had to invest in psychology courses. I had to start meditating. I had to start asking myself questions every night before bed and put my subconscious to work. And that helped me to uncover, okay, where I'm at and what's really stopping me. And keeping a journal of that. Every time something came up in my mind that I'm aware of, because there's so many things that, come through our mind that we're not aware of. And the only reason why I'd be aware of it is because I would feel my heart race. I would feel like my mood would shift. So I'm like, hold on, what just happened there? And I would document it, right? So I started to get a picture of what was happening in my mind that I was aware of, documenting it, and praying about it. Right? I started to pray about it as I go along.
Wow. That's really inspiring and just so helpful to hear the amount of work you poured in, to rewire yourself, to break free from those limiting beliefs and to just, push yourself further. So what about in terms of consistency though with your trading? What did that look like and what practices did you have to establish to reach that consistency that you were eventually able to quit your day job, years ago and just fund your life through trading?
That's that's not like a one timestamp thing. It's
Yeah.
like over a period of time, right? So
Mhm.
one thing about me is like I dive into everything wholeheartedly. Like if something intrigues me, I jump in right away. And that was the blessing with me learning how to trade. So I used to go nights. I used to lose sleep. It got to a point where I wasn't even giving my family enough time because I wanted to understand the mechanics, everything around trading. All
Mm.
right. So after a while, I got that undercover. Now I started to see. So I became an anomaly. I have to admit, like it didn't take me years to like see profits. And remember, I was already investing on a long term in my brokerage account. So I had a relationship with trading, just not on a shorter term. So that kind of helped me to gain some, I think it helped me to gain some consistency with the day trading, because now I'm like, I know what it feels like to be in the markets. And I wasn't afraid of losing, because as a value investor, you're not looking to get in like at precise levels. You're looking to buy and hold. So a red
Mhm.
P&L doesn't really affect you so much. And I think that helped me with trading, understanding that there'll be drawdowns and so forth. So I want to say like anywhere from 8 months, I started to see consistency. I did a few months on sim. 8 months started to see consistency, but not enough to quit your job. Just enough to say, okay, there's progress here. All right. And I think it was like after a year or two after that, I started to see more and more every day. And I'm like, hey, I can do this. It was to the point where I would set my limit orders, go to work, come back, accept the risk, and just come back and see a loss or a win. All right. I was winning more because I was setting my limit orders in areas that, hey, I was confident that it could get there as for a target.
Yeah, I love that example of you're kind of normalizing the fact that it's not a quick, like, I'm consistent, so I'm going to quit my job and go all in. Like, you took years to like really dial it in and then do both, like doing the limit orders and trusting your analysis and letting it play out and being okay with the red. Like that probably was huge in like building up your stamina with taking and holding trades and like getting you to where you are now.
Yes, and it gave me that momentum. It gave me that conviction, that
Mm-hmm.
confidence to say, okay, I can do this. And I remember
Yeah.
one day I was having a bad day at work, and I made, I don't want to lie, but it's somewhere in the thousands. And I said, I'm going to quit this. I can't wait to quit this job. I hate this job. I used to say all these things because now I'm seeing evidence that, hey, you
Yeah.
know what? I can do this. And that really pushed me forward. Then COVID hit, and I'm like, yes, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So
Okay,
COVID
so
just took off.
since when you did transition, then
Mhm.
what has helped you stay grounded in your discipline with being a full time trader? Like the habits and routines that have helped you kind of stay consistent through the growth period of now. This is kind of your biggest part of your workday.
I had to change me being afraid to tell someone that this is what I do and I'm good at it. Right. So first I had to change um, me saying, I'm an operations manager, or I'm a business banker, or whatever it was, to I'm a trader, with confidence. So that was a big deal for me. The first time I said that, my heart leapt, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm taking on that. But I learned that from, I think it was a psychology course that I learned, like changing your identity and being that person. You want to pull the future you into the present. And that's kind of what I was doing, to slowly come to that realization that, hey, this is who I am today. And then meditation, meditation, meditation. I can't stress enough about meditation. It has worked wonders for me. I wouldn't be the person I am today without getting to know myself through meditation, observing myself, and looking into my thoughts and examining everything. The same kind of curiosity that you go to with the chart is the same kind of curiosity you need when you're looking at yourself. Why did your heart skip a beat just now? Why did you feel down? Why did you feel happy? You need to know all these things.
I love that
Okay, so
so
that
much,
helped me.
that self-awareness.
Yeah.
How would you say that, that that's just the most important, your spirituality and your faith, that's led you to all your success?
100%. 100%. Look, as human beings, we lack structure, and we have to admit that. And if you have enough self-awareness, that's something you're going to realize that, hey, why do you think trading is so difficult? It's because we lack structure. We don't, we want to, we have this entrepreneurial flair in us, And that comes with us not having any government above us, right? So we make our own decisions. And because we lack structure in the very small things in our lives, we expect that we're going to have that in trading, and it doesn't work like that, right? And a part of that structure is changing your identity, right? Developing the habits that you need. Now, my habits might be different than yours. For example, I drive pretty fast, okay? I had to start driving slower now, right? Because I need to be more patient. It's the little things like that, right? Instead of switching the lane and you see the play, don't switch lanes, stay in your lane. And I would relate everything I do to trading. That's like seeing a trade go by and don't take it because it's not your setup. Stuff like that. I had to relate everything with trading, and that came through awareness and the desire to change.
I love how you're kind of framing it in that your whole person had to change, like your identity. You leaned into meditation to understand yourself better, your habits of your daily life, how it was like a over years period where you had to take the time to change and shift into a consistently profitable trader in order to make it sustainable. Seems like
that is correct. And as I share with you guys, when you get to that level, it's going to feel like it happened overnight. It's going to feel like at some point your consistency, your success is going to look like it's overnight because it's an accumulation of everything that you're doing coming up to it, right? It's not. So when you just asked me that question of, quitting my job and seeing consistency, there's no real definite answer. I can't even tell you when, but all I can tell you is that it happened over a period of time.
Okay, one more question. Kendra and I are mamas. You also are a parent. How has it been? You mentioned a little bit of this earlier, but like figuring out the balance with your regular life, your family, your responsibilities at home, and then the trading. Because sometimes, I've certainly felt like it can be all encompassing. You just want to dive in and live in the charts and learn everything you can, but you can't actually do that and still maintain a healthy home. So how do you manage that?
Structure, right? Structure and support. Because I sacrificed all those years to learn the craft. Less is more in trading at this point in my career. So detaching from that old Jermaine where you had to work hard, you had to work 13 hours to make a living. Now we understand, now it's clear to me that the less I stay on the charts, the more effective I am as a trader. All right. Friday was a good example of that. Just this past Friday, right? Traded for maximum of, let's say, 15 minutes, right? And my P&L doesn't reflect 15 minutes of trading, right? So it's these little experiences that will help to rewire you as you go along. So structure, back to structure, because I'm getting off topic here. Set a timetable, set a schedule. When do you need to wake up? When do you need to go to bed? When do you need to meditate? What happens after a trade, right? Block off family time. You have to be strict with that because if you don't have discipline in your regular life, your schedule, how are you going to have that on the charts, right? If this is a business is open from 9 to 5. With your trading business, you know that volatility picks up anywhere from 9 a.m., sometimes 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why are you still around the charts after that? Why? That means you're addicted, right? And trading is dangerous when it's an addiction. Okay, it's a job, it's a business. So you open for business at certain time, you close shop, you get on with your life. But that came through experience and pain to understand that, right? I felt like I had to do 12 hours on the charts to perform good tomorrow. And then you lose a trade and you're like, I put in all that work. It doesn't work like that. So we hear that a lot, but we need to internalize these things so we can have a better psychology and we can focus on mental health because mental health is a big thing. And one thing I realized over time is everything I used to do was trading related outside of sitting around the computer. Now I read a book that's not trading related. I try to detach. On Saturdays and Sundays, I don't even want to see the screen. I don't even want to look at Discord, nothing like that. I'm present right here, right now. This is all I'm sure about now. I'm not sure about tomorrow. I'm not even sure about 5 minutes from now, but I'm sure about right now.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, you're giving me life right now, Jermaine. Like the level of maturity, the level of being just so intentional with your time, you know, being able to compartmentalize and just be present in the moment. To backtrack a little when you were talking about, it made me think of one of the things I try to check myself on is any action before I take any action, like, am I doing this to serve a feeling or to serve a purpose? And we talked about being on the charts more than we know we need to be. Less is more. Like, that's one of the things. It's like, you know, we're, like you said, it's an addiction. And we've talked about that in another episode, but it's such a fine line between like, no, I should be practicing more, you know, versus like, no, you just want to feel better about your progress right now instead of being like still and accepting that you already did your job today.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can relate to that because there were days when I would get on the charts and I make, you know, a certain amount, and I'm like, I need to make more. There's more time in the day, right? And then you go and you give it back, right?
Yeah.
It's so different. Trading is the opposite of everything that you learned. It is the opposite of everything that you have been taught coming up, and this is why it's so difficult, right?
Really?
But
Legit.
if you have the will, the drive, right? And I think support is a big thing in trading. You know, I got caught up earlier on in saying I have to prove to people that I can do this. And this is not good. You need to have the level of confidence to say, I can do this. I don't care if I'm going to lose my way to win it, but I'm going to do this, right? And have some self-compassion as you go along. That was a big thing too. Understanding that, hey, I have a red day today, but it's not the end of the world and it's okay. I'm not going to take that loss into tomorrow's trading, right? So that's a big thing.
Lose my way to winning. Jermaine, you just dropped like a whole gem on us. I love that. Love that.
It's real. I tell my members, no, I'm not afraid to lose. I'm not afraid to lose because if I didn't lose, somebody said this the other day, and I think it was so cool. If somebody told you had to lose $100,000 in order to be a millionaire, I would try to lose that $100,000 quickly through experience, right? Like I want to lose, like I'm at 90,000 now. All right, cool. I want to lose the next 10,000. Yeah. Right? So, but lose it with intention. Right? Lose it with intention. Lose it to learn something from it. Don't squander it.
Yeah. It's like trade with intention to like understand the market and realize where you have to risk in order to reward. And then if it plays out, whichever direction it plays out, win or loss, what did you learn? And that's how you can actually really start getting to that $1 million past the first losses.
Yes, you're not going to throw that 100,000 away. You're going to lose with intention. You have to understand, and that's the thing with sim trading with people. Sim trading is good and it's bad. It's good in the sense that you can develop a discipline. And look, I'm telling you right now, if I was to go through a losing period, I don't have any problem going on sim. Right? And that ego of always trading live has gone out the door. Okay? I'm not afraid to go on MES. A lot of people, they'll be like, oh no, I've been consistent. I need to make this amount. Nope. If I ever come to the charts thinking about money, I had a frustrating day the other day, right, Becky, where I immediately saw the market going to a level, went to the gym, put on the trade, and my whole focus that day was about the P&L. And I lost.
Yeah.
I lost. It's just a reminder that you have to make sure that every day you're in your body, right? You're present.
Yeah.
I feel like we could pick your brain forever. I really appreciate you coming on with Market Mamas. Like your wisdom with this and your humbleness with recognizing you're still mid-process. But you have learned so much, and I really just love how you do impart that on others that are curious to know. So really, thank you so much for being on with us today, Jermaine.
Yes, thank
I
you so much,
appreciate it.
Jermaine.
Thank you.
I'm going to watch this like many, many times, and I hope our viewers find as much value in it as us. So appreciate having you here.
Thank you. I thank you guys for having me on. Look, I'm your biggest fan. All right, I'm here. I'm cheering you on. Okay, so many good contents. I don't even watch Netflix anymore. Okay, I watch Market Mamas. All right, so I love the content you guys are putting out. It's so real, and I just want to encourage both of you to stay focused. All right, and everything will fall into place. All right.
Thank you so much, Jermaine.
You're
Happy
welcome.
trading, and we'll talk to you maybe again another time.
Yes. Talk to you soon.
Hi, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us today.
Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.